What's up, guys? Aquarium Conversations back here again with another quick video. And with everything going on today, guys, I thought it would be cool if I kind of just shared with you an update on all my tanks. Let's be honest, probably a lot of you guys are sitting at home trying to figure out what to do, how to pass the time, and keep yourself and your family safe. I'm maybe fortunate I live by myself, and I'm definitely fortunate to be invested in a hobby that quite honestly, it keeps me busy like times like this. I think I spent probably 2 hours today doing water changes and maintaining the tanks, and I'm always looking at the tanks, and they're always capturing my attention, and I'm always looking at what I could do and how I can do to improve my fish keeping skills or aquascaping skills or any of that kind of stuff, lighting and filtration. I'm always invested in the time it takes to really be efficient and improve in this hobby. So what I want to do now is just a quick update on all the tanks. Right now I'm in my bedroom, and we're going to start with the 20-gallon long, this kind of riverbed looking tank, which I believe we're going on a couple months now, 2 months, maybe 3 months that this tank's been set up, and couldn't be happier with it, guys. I love the way the scape. You'll hear me say this a bunch, the way the plants are maturing and growing and filling in areas. I even like some of the negative space that's in this tank, which gives the fish plenty of room to interact and swim around. Love this piece of manzanita wood right here, the rocks. I've got some snails in here now, which are really helping give this tank a sense of life and activity. The fish, these bonus area tetras, I'm in love with. I highly recommend this fish. Get a bunch of them, get 10 or 12. I think I have 11 or 12 in this tank. They're a larger tetra. They get bigger than your neons and your rummy nose and your cardinal tetras. They get bigger than those. So definitely an awesome fish. If you guys remember, I'm running just a floodlight on here, which gives this this one side, this kind of sheen, this shimmer to it, and it's darker over here. This is exactly the look I've been going for. The light is working. You see the plants are growing in. So again, really pleased with this tank and how it's turning out and maturing. Here we are on the other side of my bedroom. This is the 16-gallon Aquariums bow front, which I've had for 2 years probably now. And I've really loved the way this scape has come together. Love these rocks. One of these days I'm going to figure out the name of these rocks. Anyone in the comments, please let me know the name of them. Found them at my local pet store, and absolutely love the character on them. Very similar to Dragonstone, which I think it's a clay-based rock, but I love the texture and character of these rocks. Plants, what can I say? I think they speak for themselves. The crypts up here in the front, the crypts spiralis that's growing up over there on the sides, doing really well. These bloodfin tetras, again, I think it's a I don't see them that much in the hobby as far as escaping tanks, but it's a schooling fish. I love the colors, the shimmer and sheen that the bodies have, and these red fins and tail fins that they have are absolutely amazing. And I don't know where he is. I have a German blue ram in here somewhere. Maybe he's camera shy. He's back there. I don't know if you guys can see him. Can you see him? Right there. But when he is out and about, here's another look at him through this little hole right there. Can you see him? No? There he is. Okay. When he's out and about, that is one of the prettiest fish I've ever kept. The iridescent colors, the blues, the yellows, the oranges on that fish are, rival a lot of saltwater fish, to be honest with you. If you're, in a store when things get back to normal, whenever that is, and you see some German root blue rams. I highly recommend you pick them up. But this is a look at the 16-gallon bow front. And here we have the newly updated 3-gallon fish bowl. This one I had set it up for a few months. I had a completely different scape in here. I had some rocks, I had some driftwood. These same plants are from that original scape, but that tank pretty much got overrun with algae. So I tore it apart, put it back together. Kept it pretty simple, but I think it looks pretty nice. The fish from that original scape are still in here. There's 3 of those, what's that, snakeskin live bears, and there's a betta fish in here somewhere. I don't know where he's at. He's hiding somewhere. At least I hope he's still in there. Oh, he's in the back. There he is. See him? All right. What else did I do differently? The last scape, I believe I used a mixture of potting soil, aqua soil, and sand as a substrate. This one I'm just using the fluvial stratum in here. I went with this kind of terrarium style, underwater terrarium with this other glass bowl in there, as you can see, and I planted that as well. Some of the plants are just some basic crypts. I've got an Amazon sword, I've got some rotala, and I got some Liguigia. Forgive me if I butchered that. And I believe I've got some Sturgeon repens in there as well. But that's the new updated fish bowl. Here we have the 36-gallon bow front, and this is kind of going under a lot of changes. I've taken some fish out, I've taken some plants out. I had some issues with some algae, switched out the lights, so my light wasn't as bright. Everything that's in there now is still doing well, but I can tell you in the next coming weeks, if not maybe even days, depending on when I go back to work, I'll be redoing this tank. This setup has been like this for over a year. I think it's run its course. I think it's time to do something fresh. Like I said, I've moved some fish around. I may even put some new fish in here. We'll see what happens. But this is the look at the 36-gallon bow front. The tank, I still love it. Still love the shape. Still love everything about it. I think just it's time to rescape it. It looks aged. It looks old. Maybe put some fresh plants in here, some fresh fish to kind of sprucing it up a little bit. So let me know what you guys think about this. This tank here, I've always kind of kept it as like a grow out tank. I've got some plants in here and not a whole lot of fish. It's a 8-gallon, 7.5-gallon cube. I use this grow out tank just because the lights are really bright in here. Running a night crew light on there. So I get a lot of good plant growth, fast plant growth. Got some Liguigia in there, some crypts. There's some rocks and driftwood from some other scapes that I've used in the past, but really just kind of use it as a grow out tank. Like I said, I get some pretty good growth and some speedy growth out of this tank. Don't know how long I'll keep it up, but when it comes to redoing tanks and rescaping tanks, this definitely comes in handy. Working my way over to the 29-gallon tank. This tank is doing really, really well. The plants have really grown in and filled in. The tank the way I had imagined it. The fish are doing well. This was the tank where I had the Congo tetras and the angelfish. The angelfish are still in here. They've been on a lot of good size. The Congo tetras I've rehomed to another tank. I'll show you that here in a minute. But I've added some rainbow fish that were in that 36-gallon bow front. These dwarf neon rainbows were from that tank, and I've even added some Australian rainbows because I think they'll go well in this tank as well. But really like the way this tank has kind of started to mature and come together. I like even the aged look on the rocks, this kind of, you know, brown aging look right here. I absolutely love. It gives it gives the tank a sense of maturity. But again, the fish are doing well, and really can't say enough about how this tank has come together. Right below that is, if you guys remember, the 10-gallon top fin Fascinate tank, which I've essentially set up as a quarantine tank. So there's some smaller cichlids in here now that are hiding, some South American cichlids. I just picked those up. I'm just using those as, you know, like I said, a quarantine tank for now. Those will probably go into 65 in the coming weeks, but just wanted to, so, you know, people who were asking about this tank, what was I doing with it? It's now a quarantine tank. And here's a look at the 65-gallon tank. Here's where I put those Congo tetras that are in here now. I put them in here so they'll grow out. I've got, he's hiding right now. Oh, maybe he'll come out. There's an Acara cichlid right there. That's not an electric blue. That's just a regular Acara cichlid. I saw them in my local pet store. I picked one up, and you know, I love this kind of iridescent look that it has that really goes well with the same kind of iridescent look that the Congo tetras has. So I absolutely love that. You know, I had some Acara fish in another tank. I lost those ones to ick. But I definitely wanted to get some more because I love the fish. I love the size. It doesn't get too big. It's a colorful fish. It's a fish that goes well with plants and gets along with others. But, you know, looking at the scape, it's probably been 3 weeks since I set this up. So there's still some, you know, some changes going on here now. There's, you know, some of the crypts have melted back and they're starting to expose some new growth. The swords are doing well. Jungle Val, or the Jungle Val over here. I keep wanting to call this some sort of grass, but this is Jungle Val. This is Jungle Val over here. Those have started to really kind of take hold. The roots are spreading in these bowls that I put them in. This might be short term, guys. You know, I just like the way it looks for now. I got some crypts in here. Got a couple swords. You know, we'll see as time, you know, goes on how this tank matures and this, you know, what I have to move around. I don't think I'll have to do anything with the substrate or the rocks or anything like that, or the wood. You know, the wood, this spider wood has kind of like that gray fungus that happens naturally. So this tank is starting, you know, it's maturing. You know, it's still young. It's still kind of in its infancy. But I love the way it looks. I love the size of it. Those South American cichlids that I have in quarantine will probably go in here. Those will probably maybe get between 4 and 6 inches. So I think they'll make a good addition to this tank. But so far, so good. Haven't had any issues with it. Filtration has been really good. That Cascade 300 from Penplax is doing way better than expected. This internal filter is a beast. Right now I'm running air to it. They call this the I believe Venturi system right here, where I'm just running, you know, air into it, so oxygen is getting into the tank. And oxygen, as you guys know, is beneficial for everything, the plants, the fish, and all that kind of stuff. So the light is doing well. This Aqua Neat light that I have up there is I didn't think it would be bright enough, but it's plenty bright for this tank. So I mean, I'm really pleased and proud that I was kind of able to put something together and not really spend a whole lot of money for it. You know, I think between the lights, the 2 filters, the heater, that might have cost 50 bucks, guys, to be honest with you. And this is probably the least amount of money I've spent on good filtration and good lighting on all the tanks that I've had. I've used Fluval lights, I've used Aqueon heaters, and some other high-end internal filters, and the way this one is working so far, I couldn't be, you know, more happy. I really couldn't. So this is look at the 65-gallon tank. Here's a look at the 30-gallon extra tall or extra high tank. If you guys remember, a couple months ago I had ick I was battling ick with this tank, and I'll be honest with you, I lost some fish. Those blue Aquariums that I mentioned earlier, I lost them in this tank, unfortunately. I believe there were a couple other fish, maybe some tetras that I also lost too. These pearl gouramis are flourishing. I love the look and the color of these pearl gouramis. Again, this is another highly recommended fish. They definitely go well with plants. You can see my battle-tested honey gourami up there. Got some of those Colombian tetras that are still hanging around and doing well. I've got a bristlenose pleco in here somewhere too. But this tank, there was a lot of question, there was a lot of doubt in my mind. The plants are starting to bounce back. A lot of people were saying remove the plants and the plants were going to die. I took a gamble and left them in there. I still got some, I think, ways to go. I've been trimming back a lot of these plants and trying to encourage new growth, which I definitely can see. But, it's come a long way from where it was at, when essentially I was pretty much convinced that I was going to lose everything. So I'm really happy and encouraged with this tank. Can't wait to see what the future holds for it. But this is look at the 30-gallon extra tall tank. Alright guys, so as I sit back down on my couch and probably going to turn on the TV and figure out how I'm going to finish out the evening. Maybe I'll just go to bed. Maybe try and figure out what I'm going to do tomorrow. A lot of us are in the same predicament. I would say, stay strong, keep yourself safe, keep your family safe. But, I just want to say that, I think I'm really fortunate enough. And anyone who's in the hobby, and I'm assuming if you're following me, you're probably in the hobby, you're looking to get into the hobby, but, you could see, the tanks and essentially the work that I've done. And I'm just kind of panning around my living room, and you can see the tanks, and it keeps me busy, guys. It does. I'm not going to even sugarcoat that in a time like this when you're looking for something to do. I get so excited about doing water changes. It's not even funny. I get excited about feeding the fish, or if I need to maintain some plants and stuff like that. It just kind of keeps me busy. So I would say to anyone who's out there and you're looking for something to do, and you have some tanks, that need some work, you see some algae, you want to rescape it, go for it. You know what I mean? Go for it. Do it right. Take the time. You'll be rewarded by the work that you put in. And I would also say, if you're fortunate enough to have a family, get your family involved. Have the little ones help you with the water changes. Excuse my dining room table mess. I apologize, but get the little ones involved. Get the missus or mister involved, and make it a family thing. Times like this, are going to affect us all in different ways. But I feel blessed. I feel really fortunate enough to have a hobby like this to kind of keep me invested and really help me pass the time. So I'll leave you guys with that. Any questions or comments, leave them down below. Stay safe, stay strong, stay calm, and I will talk to you guys down the road. Bye.